So Jamahal Hill just continues to embarrass himself. This dude might be one of the most delusional fighters in the UFC today. He continues to be salty about the Alex Periera loss. He continues to cope in every way you can imagine. Now, what am I talking about? After Alex Periera finished Khalil Rountree in a very amazing title fight at UFC 307, they pan to Jamahal Hill in the crowd, and he's doing like this like fake yawning thing. And dude, it's just embarrassing at this point. The cope coming out of Jamahal Hill is like the levels of copium are unheard of. Like ever since before the Alex Periera fight, he talked so much shit to the fans and so much shit to everybody, saying that when I beat him in MMA, because I was bred in MMA, this isn't kickboxing, and then I will knock him out. Right? He was so Jamahal Hill was so confident coming off of an injury, can't talk shit. But overall, I've always thought Jamahal Hill was a little overrated. Who has Jamahal Hill beat? A 42-year-old washed-up Glover Teixeira? Johnny Walker? Who hasn't chinned Johnny Walker at this point? Jamahal Hill just continues to embarrass himself, and I feel like this might hinder Jamahal Hill for the rest of his career because he's so caught up in Alex Periera that I don't even think he'll be focused on his next opponent. Like, dude, if he fights Khalil Rountree in his next fight, I think Khalil Rountree, once he's healed up, will do bad things to Jamahal Hill. I think he smokes Jamahal Hill, to be honest, because Jamahal Hill, he's one-dimensional. He's a pretty good striker. He has good knockout power, but he doesn't have any wrestling. He doesn't have any ground game. And in a pure striking match, I think Khalil Rountree busts up Jamahal Hill and probably knocks him out. Probably a first or second round TKO. Maybe that's recency bias because Khalil looked good against Periera. But dude, Jamahal Hill, he just doesn't know how to accept a loss. Ever since he lost to Periera at UFC 300, he's been on a coping tour. He's going around on multiple interviews with the Schmo, with other people, just on his YouTube channel in general, just coping and saying that protect yourself at all times, and then making an excuse about how Alex Periera asked Herb Dean to stop the fight for a second and said, oh, never mind, and then took advantage of it and knocked him, and that's the only reason he got knocked out. Like, no, bro. If you watched the fight, you actually stepped forward and went to throw a shot first at Alex Periera, so there's really no excuse. You knew the fight was in action, and then you got KO'd, and then you tried to backtrack and make an excuse on why you lost. Like, dude, at this point, it's sad. I don't know what else to say. Jamahal Hill, he's a complete joke. I used to like him as a fighter, but man, if there's one way to turn the fans on you, it's by coping and not knowing how to take a loss. Nobody likes anyone that doesn't know how to take a loss. Like, just look at TJ Dillashaw. I know he popped for PEDs, but that dude sucks at taking a loss, and nobody likes him. And look at whenever Dominic Cruz took a loss to Cody Garbrandt at UFC, what was it, 207? He took that loss like a champ, and people were so heavily praising Dominic Cruz, like, man, he took a loss so well. He took it on the chin. And then there's Jamahal Hill, who just doesn't know how to take a loss, can't move on. Like, UFC 300 was what, back in April? And Jamahal Hill is still coping about it at the crowd in UFC 307, doing some bullshit like that. Like, dude, you got KO'd. And then wait, the best part about it is Jamahal Hill has went on record to say that he was aware the whole time whenever he was fighting Periera. He was never unconscious. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't rocked or anything. Like, bro, what do you mean? You look at your face in this fucking photo. What do you mean you weren't rocked, bro? You went to sleep. So the level of cope, like, dude, just take a loss. We all lose in life. Like, bro, just take the L and move on. And then he tries to spin it and gaslight us and say, oh, you see, I have no problem taking a loss. Whenever I fought Paul Craig and he gave me my first L, I was dancing with him in the club. Like, yeah, bro, because that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You talked a bunch of shit to the fans about Alex Periera. Even the fans that were supporting you on Twitter, you were talking mad shit, and you're mad and you're salty because you got KO'd after talking mad shit. Dude went to the press conference with like a stone water bottle or something, and he was like, oh, I'm just envisioning what I picture tomorrow night. Like, no, dude. Oh, man. Jamahal Hill might be the biggest coper in the sport today. By far. I mean, there's literally compilations of him on YouTube at this point coping about his loss to Alex Periera. Like I said, it's embarrassing. It's sad. I think he needs to move on. Like, what Jamahal Hill needs to do is get in the octagon and prove, if he's so confident that he's going to beat Alex Periera in the rematch because he's still talking shit on Twitter about it. If he's so confident, how about you go out there, stop making excuses, train hard. I understand he's injured right now, I believe, but train hard, come back, get a knockout win, get a bunch of wins, because honestly, I don't think Jamahal Hill is going to have enough time to fight Alex Periera. I think Alex Periera He's 37 years old. He's looking at bigger things than Jamahal Hill. He already rode that airplane, you know? He's not looking to fly on the same airplane. He's looking at bigger, better things. He's looking at Magomed Ankalaev. He's looking at moving up to heavyweight. So I think the best thing for Jamahal Hill to do is to stop coping on Twitter, stop making YouTube videos about and excuses about why he lost to Alex Periera. And, bro, just accept the loss, move on, get some wins, and try to get back to your belt. Because at the end of the day, I know some people say delusion is the best base for MMA, and it might be, but at what point do you say this is going to hinder a fighter's career if they can't let go of a loss? I mean, for example, look at Dominic Reyes. Now, I know Dominic Reyes arguably beat John Jones. No, not arguably. He did beat John Jones, right? But look what happened. He held on to that loss for so long, and then Dominic Reyes goes and gets brutally KO'd 3 times in a row. And I really feel like the reason Dominic Reyes got KO'd that many times in a row is because he was so focused on John Jones that he didn't know how to take the loss properly. He was so focused on that John Jones fight. Man, I beat John Jones, and now nothing's the same. Then he got finished by Jan Blachowicz, then he got finished by Yuri Prohaska, then he got finished by Ryan Spann. It was brutal to watch, and I really feel like Dominic Reyes could have performed a lot better in those fights had he, 1, took more time off after the John Jones fight, and 2, had he just let it go. Like, dude, in your heart, you know you beat John Jones. It sucks. You should have been called the champion, but you're not. Show you're better than that. Come back. But I was happy to see Dominic Reyes beat Dustin Jacoby earlier this year. That was such a wholesome moment. But yeah, back to Jamahal Hill. Bro's the king of cope at this point in the UFC. It's embarrassing. He just needs to honestly just shut up and win a fight, dude. Like, stop talking on Twitter. And anybody who sees this video, please send this video to Jamahal Hill on his Twitter so he can react to it, so I can see how salty he'll get. I know I'm a really small YouTuber, but it would be funny to see him react. And, oh, yeah, another thing he was doing to cope. Dude, Jamahal Hill was getting so mad at the fans about trolling about the Alex Periera loss that he was, like, on Twitter saying, I got 20 bands right here. If anybody want to come to the gym and spar. Y'all talk hard on Twitter, come spar me. Bro, you know how salty you have to be offering fans money to fight you because you're so mad at trash talk online? Like, Jamahal Hill literally lets keyboard warriors get to him. Oh, my goodness. I think he made his own bed and he had to lay in it. And Jamahal Hill can't live with the fact that Alex Periera was the better striker and he's a world champion kickboxer. And in Jamahal Hill's mind, he was like, I don't care if he came up in kickboxing. This is MMA. I will knock him out. And he got knocked out and he just couldn't take the loss. So it's embarrassing. It's delusional. Jamahal Hill is, if I made a cope tier list tomorrow on coping, Jamahal Hill would be S tier easily. He's salty. He's coping. Let me know what you guys think below. Will Jamahal Hill ever return to form? Do you guys think he can come back and win fights? Because, like I said, delusion sometimes can be the best base for MMA, but it also can be the downfall of a fighter. And if Jamahal Hill can't let go of this Alex Periera loss and he just keeps coping and fighting about it on Twitter, and then I really feel like it can make him lose focus on his next opponent, which could be Khalil Roundtree, but he might not want to wait that long because Khalil's going to be out for a while. So maybe you do Jamahal Hill against the loser of Ankalaev versus Rakic. Or maybe that's too long too. I don't know. But either way, Jamahal Hill, if you see this, stop coping, take a loss like a man, and move on. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I appreciate you watching. Just fed up with his nonsense, fed up with all the delusion. And yeah, I'm out.